Good evening, everyone. I have with me Sonal Andrews, who is, I think, a beacon for educationers. Sonal, ma'am, needs to have many, many fingers because she has her fingers in so many pies. She is the founder, director of IPTA, which trains teachers, and she is a dramatist, she's an actor, she's a singer. She has conducted n number of webinars. She is a very much coveted person at workshops, and she has won innumerable awards. To get Sonal ma'am to have a meeting with us has been very difficult, but I have pursued it because I know this 1 hour is worth every sentence that she speaks. She's conducted many workshops for Mother's Pet Kindergarten, and they have been wonderful. Our staff look forward to every session with Sonal Andrews. So, Sonal, welcome to our session on the role of uh, parents and educators in developing skills and values in early childhood. Over
Thank
to
you
you,
so
Sonal.
much. Thank you so much for having me, ma'am. It's always it feels like a family coming back to Mother's
Yes,
Pet.
yes. So, yes, Sonal, can we start? Let's start because this is a topic that has got we can have two sessions, I think, on this, but we'll wrap it up quickly. And this, I would like, first and foremost, Sonal, everybody says early years are very important, early years are critical. So, can you shed some light on the development of the brain in the child? Because
Sure.
this is what is going to determine what the child is going to be later, what kind of an
Absolutely.
adult. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for giving the platform to talk to the parents and the educators at the same time. Hello, everyone. I thank the management once more for having me. And let's dive into today's journey. Let's understand why early childhood education and this phase of life is so important. Let me give you one small idea. We all were babies once upon a time, and we all were naughty. We all did everything that every child is doing today. But as parents, we are like, how can you do that? How can you not listen to me? And it begins. Why is this phase of life very critical? Because the brain is developing in a rapid manner. Let me give you an example. The day you are conceived as a baby in the womb, that is the day onwards you have every memory. Can you believe it? Difficult to believe. It is stored in our unconscious brain. However, what happens to those memories? They become experience and belief, and they determine our behavior in future. Behavior is nothing but a combination of experience, beliefs, and your emotions attached to that. And that is how, when I look at Kalpana ma'am, by default, I smile because I have amazing experiences with her. That is how, when you look at some people, you wonder, why is this person with me at all?
Yes.
That is the idea that is created well into the beginning. The brain of a newborn, and during the prenatal period, we are developing all the senses. We know five primary senses, that is visual, auditory, olfactory, gustatory, and tactile. Believe me, all these five primary senses that are to do with your eyes, ears, nose, your tongue, and your skin are developed in the womb itself to begin with. And first 2 years, you get stimulations and you develop them further. Through these senses, the brain development happens. In the brain, we have gray cells. They are called neurons. And that's why we say, how's your gray matter? When we test somebody. Now,
Yes.
these number of gray cells are same throughout the life. Now, that will make us question that then how our intellect is improving, how our gray matter is improving. The number of cells don't increase. But what increases is the connection between these cells, and that is called synapse. The synapse is a connection between two neurons. For an example, when I'm talking to you, you might yawn that, okay, she's talking. But you watch a cartoon, you'll be like, ah. The child who doesn't have attention to listen to the parent or the educator, the same child has amazing attention listening to the cartoon, watching a cartoon. How does that magic happen? It happens in the brain. One zone, auditory, chromatic, that is colors, music, speech, senses, all these get connected. And there is a fire in the brain. The more the fire, the better the attention. And that is why watching TV or something interesting or playing a favorite game, it's very easy for the child. But listening and doing homework becomes very difficult for the child. In early childhood, we need to work as parents and educator to help develop this brain. Now we cannot get inside the brain and do anything about it, right? But what we can do is create an environment where mirror neurons in the baby's brain. For 7 years of life, we have lots of neurons which are called mirror neurons. As the word suggests, whatever you do, I copy you. 1 year old baby, you ask the baby, how's your grandpa? How does he do? They will act up. In our times, if somebody would ask, how's your daddy? How does your daddy do? I take a newspaper, I drink tea, all those actions I would do. Now, if somebody asks, they will show.
Yes.
The scene has changed. They are called
Mm.
mirror neurons. The way you behave, ditto child will behave. The second part, our brain at absolute inception, prenatal and natal stage, is very, very tiny but has amazing rapid growth, as I mentioned, because they are grasping from the environment. They are understanding how relationship works. You don't tell a child that I'm your mommy. You don't tell a child this is your papa, but the child understands eventually. Have you noticed a 6-month-old baby staring at his own hand doing like this? All the
Yes.
moms here, all the educators,
Yes.
the child is figuring out that it's not involuntary. I am the doer. When I want to close, it's closing. It's a discovery. The brain is doing experimentation. For an example, child in a cradle kicks a mobile on the top, the mobile rattle kind of a thing with a light, and it makes a sound. First time, child gets scared. Then he purposely kicks. And that is the awesome part of the brain. It does relationships, and that are called neurotransmitters working. In the childhood, these neurotransmitters have a lot of mirror neurons, a lot of absorption and connection being made, and it also has no inhibitions. You ask a child, how's the food? It's not nice. My mummy makes well. They have no inhibition. They will be just there.
I know, and the mummy will be red faced. The
Absolutely
other
right.
mummy.
Absolutely right.
Yes.
Child's brain is at massive speed. For 6 years, if you give environment which is enriching and stimulating his growth in terms of habit formation, in terms of his intellect, in terms of his behavior and personality, is going to be beautiful ascending graph. And that is why at this phase, we need to be working very, very passionately and with all our skills and ability with youngsters.
Yes. You've given us, a lot to think of, Sonal. This makes me think that we have so many kindergartens all over. At every nook and corner, there is a kindergarten. But I always wonder how many of these people are trained. See, now you've spoken about the neurons and mirror neurons and how, a good stimulus
Yes,
can work on the brain of a child. It can
absolutely
create memories. It can, uh, help in the cognitive development of the child.
true.
So, what is needed as educators? What should we do? I
Thank you.
think yes. I
Thank you
think
so
Sonal.
much for asking, ma'am. This is the
Yes,
closest thing to my heart.
exactly. You
Right.
know. So I think this is what we all need to do. We
Very true.
all need to work and give the right kind of stimulus for the child.
You know, Rita
And
Pearson, a very well-known TEDx speaker, has said every classroom of early childhood education deserves a champion. Think about
yes,
it. You might follow CBSC, you might follow ICSC, you might follow Cambridge, IB,
state board,
Montessori,
we are all state board.
whichever, or state board, whichever board you follow.
Yes,
Early childhood education doesn't change. But
yes,
what changes is the quality of educator.
yes,
How passionate are you? I remember when I came to Nagpur and did a session with teachers. After 6 months, I got a feedback, ma'am. In the corridor, there are echoes of what you have trained us for.
yes.
Now, this is where the absorption of a teacher. Now, it is not because I am pretty. Of course, I'm pretty, but that's not because of that.
Beautiful,
It's
not just
because
pretty.
it's because of the implementation magic.
Yes,
When I say something, and if you implement and you see a difference in child's behavior, that motivates you to become a better learner. As early
yes,
childhood educator and trainer, it is my plea to every woman in this sector. I'm not saying training makes you perfect. I'm saying become a learner for life, and
yes,
you will do wonders, because champion is not somebody with a gold medal. Champion is somebody who practices every day, isn't it?
yes,
Who gets down
yes,
in the ring every day. And we as educators, we are the only adults in the classroom. We
yes,
need to know what we are doing with this little brain that is a blank slate. It's like
yes,
tabula rasa, said by John Locke. He says, whatever you do, child is going to watch you and just copy you as it is. How beautiful is that? So,
yes,
as a parent, when I conceived my child, I started writing a diary. I wouldn't write what time I woke up, what time I did what. My diary was about how good I'm feeling as a parent.
yes,
Instead of expecting that bada hoke tu doctor banega, let's talk
yes,
about how happy I am to have you, first
yes.
of all.
And how joyful, what joyful learners we'll have. I think more
Absolutely
than anything, Sonal, today,
true.
what education needs is that we make children joyful learners, we become joyful educators also.
True.
I think
I
today,
wish, ma'am,
when,
you visit IPTA sometime. On the
yes,
walls of IPTA in wooden letters, I have written, teachers who love teaching, teach children to love learning.
yes,
It's very important, my dear
it's very
parents.
important.
Let me tell you
Yes,
one more time. The brain is the master of your body. As a parent, as an adult today, when you look at your children, don't you feel that, wow, I wish we had exposure like how they are having,
exactly.
right?
My teachers tell me, oh, ma'am, I wish we had
Absolutely.
all these games and
Exactly.
activities and
True.
music and dance. My
True.
teachers tell me,
So
yes,
let's make most of it and give
yes,
stimulating environment even at home for our brain. That
yes,
means no stress. That means environment where you're listening to the child. You're not instructing all the time, because if
yes,
somebody instructs me all the time, I will avoid them,
yes,
right? What brain requires is a routine.
yes,
Brain is a very stubborn organ. Think about it. Every day you brush your teeth, you take exact same amount of time to brush. As a child, when you were learning, you were doing trial and error. After certain age, now when you're brushing twice a day, every day, same amount of time. When you
yes,
have bath and after that when you wear clothes, brain doesn't wait to think pehle kya pehnu. It just
yes,
knows. It just goes
yes,
rigid. You will need to
exactly.
train your brain so that little brains in your home will learn to be a with learner's
Yes.
attitude.
And this is why, Sonal, we always say the kindergarten should be an extension of the home. You know, that's what we do. And all are at Mother's Pet Kindergarten. We have a morning routine, and children wait. Like when they enter, they have a routine. The teacher standing at the door greeting them, and after they enter, they will do those exercises. They will sing. That song that you taught all of us, Ramuka Kache, those songs they'll sing, and then they will
Absolutely.
talk about the weather. And this is how can you believe even a 3-year-old child today will say, ma'am, today is a sunny day,
Oh,
today is
beautiful.
a rainy day. And that goes in a routine. When he enters, we've got corners arranged. And these corners are arranged, uh, thinking of each child's liking. There are some children who will go to the links and I will do. There are some children who will go to the Play Doh and they will create fabulous figures. And then there are
Absolutely,
some
ma'am.
who will sit and, do those uh, puzzles that are there. So this is what we do, and we call them independent corners. When you create this kind of an atmosphere in the class, and believe me, the activities that are placed there are all done by the teachers.
Of
You will
course.
not get this in the market. So, and every day it starts changing. So, we make in this process what we do, Sonal, we make our children independent learners, because that's what I think.
Very
We
true, ma'am.
don't want a child who will wait and say, "Ma'am, what do I do next?" The child knows what he has to do. If he is a kinesthetic learner, he'll go and do what he has to do. If he's an auditory learner, he'll sit and he'll listen to the music. So we have all these.
Awesome, ma'am.
Yes. So what at Mother's Pet we do is we think of the child and we have all these activities. Now,
Fantastic.
yes. So, Sonal, now at like I don't know, I think we're all on the same page. When we plan a curriculum, we call it LSRW. Listen, speak, read, and then write. Because we keep writing to the end. And all are, these are based and are developments of the children. The skills of the children are all based, this is the brick on which our activities are based.
Superb,
You
ma'am.
know, yes. So for language development, Sonal, can you tell me what a parent should do? Because see, I've been talking about my school. Now, I would like you to tell our parents what, because I think one of the most important, I think every stage of development is very important, but I think one of the most important is also language,
Very true, ma'am.
because that is it paves you know, your entire uh, the ladder of your
Yes.
learning is based on your
Very true,
language
ma'am.
skill. So, can you tell our
Sure.
parents that
Sure.
what they can do to
Sure.
develop language, especially
With pleasure.
speaking? Speaking,
Yes.
we can go
Yes.
that way.
All
Yes,
right. Thank you so much. So, let me just go a little back. Ma'am spoke about independent corners. Now, that can be the best tool, which says that child centric school should have. A child over there has come from a vernacular medium. None of us have
yes,
mother tongue as English, but
yes,
we are English medium school. So child is having a block and creating something. And child, when a teacher says, "Oh wow, you're doing something so nice," child might say in his mother tongue, "मैं ना पानी के ऊपर रोड बना रहा हूँ."
yes,
And teacher says, "Oh, that's so nice. There's a river going and you're making a road on top. That's bridge. Ashish is making bridge today." Now that little Ashish is going to go home and say, "मैंने आज bridge बनाया." Now
yes,
this is a part of language development. Let's come back to our point why
yes,
these self-directed activities are so needed today.
yes,
And then I'll touch upon language. Number one problem that we all have in today's life is time, is occupying our children. In our time, I'm pretty ancient compared to all the parents today. In our time, that was not the worry. No mother bought crayons every summer or thought about activities to engage the child. My mother was a working woman. I went into the kitchen, took thali and chammach and created activity. Now
yes,
we have to think about it because my child's brain is mutated. And I mean it when I'm saying psychology has done a research. Think about it, my dear parents, once more. When you were born, you took nearly 2 weeks to a month time to smile or to open eyes. Those are the
yes,
milestone. Today, second day, the child gives two
yes.
days old baby,
All
1 day
ready for a
old baby.
selfie
Absolutely
already.
right. We are having children who are already exposed, not first generation learners.
Yes,
They are smarter than us. They are digitally equipped. They have so much of exposure and platform to celebrate their skills and abilities. Now let's come to understanding how do we utilize this at home. As Mem mentioned, four pillars of any language, that is LSRW: listening, reading, speaking, and writing. Okay. Now, L is listening, S is speaking, R is reading and writing. Now, we might think these are two academic way to do it. At home, we have number one pillar. After that, this five comes. As I mentioned beginning of the session, you don't tell a child that you're the mother, or this gentleman who comes home every night is the father. The child figures it out by viewing it. When the mother is crying and giving a feed to a baby, 6 month old baby, I'm not even going far. 6 month old baby, by any reason the mother is crying, the child will stop taking a feed and look at the mother. And that is a power of a brain and child's emotional capacity. We undermine it. Now, this child is viewing everything every minute. He starts babbling, he starts cooing, he starts monosyllables. Eventually, whatever he has heard from you, he starts copying it. And that begins with viewing. And that is why viewing and hearing are important for speaking. So when I see you angry, I understand word shut up is a bad word. I get importance in that word. And that is why it is so easy to learn bad words for the child instead of good
Yes.
words. As a parent, if you're interested that your child's language has to develop, do not worry about being very good with mother tongue. At the same time, translate in the language you want your child
Yes.
to proficient in. First 2 years, mother tongue is fantastic. Language doesn't only mean a particular language. Language also mean your communication skill. Language, only 7% is spelling.
Yes.
38% is paralinguistic. Paralinguistic is your tone, your temperature while speaking. For an example, in a movie called PK, we had Amir Khan doing this scene. Acha, 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 acha. Word acha can have different meaning. That's called paralinguistic. Child is picking up at home. How are you today? How are you today? Now, words are same, but the meanings were different.
Sonal, I would just like to share it. What you're saying is so close to my heart. When I used to pick up the phone and, call home and say hello, and my daughter would immediately say, "Are you upset today?" So I said, "Why? No, I can make out from your tone. You know,
Absolutely right.
what you say
And that's
really,
magical, ma'am.
yes,
And rest of major 50% plus is your body language, is your expression. So, my dear parents, you might mean the best for your child, but how are you presenting it? Yes, I'm telling you to act a little. Maybe in the beginning it is fake, but fake it till you make it. Your child is going to pick up. Would you like your child to frown all the time, be stressed all the time? Language development is VLSRW. What he's viewing, what he's listening, that he will speak. What he's reading, that he will write. At school, we have set curriculum done by the psychologist, curriculum expert, and the management together to meet the mission and the vision and the goals of the school. But
yes,
at home, my culture, my tradition, my values have to be brought in by us. When my daughter started speaking, I was very surprised because she spoke very late. Whereas my nephew, the aunt at home, I was that
yes,
aunt at home. Within 9 months, this child started speaking. My nephew. And my daughter, I thought she will speak by seventh month. I was
yes.
talking so much. But this child wouldn't speak till she was 1 year, 3, 4 months. And I was worried. What I understood one fine day, I have done intercaste marriage. So my mother tongue is Gujarati. I'm married to a Telugu family. At home, we speak Hindi and English. So four languages exposed.
Yes.
Whereas in my mom's place, it was just one language, which was Gujarati, which my nephew picked up just like that. Whereas this child, one day she's sitting on a sofa with my sister-in-law, and I said, Nakshatra, let's go for 9-9. That's a Gujarati slang for bath. So my sister-in-law said, what did your mom say? This girl translated in Telugu and
Oh,
English. And I was surprised. The
yes,
child stores the information from the conception, and this is the proof. What
yes,
happened to Abhimanyu is not a myth, it's truth.
exactly. It
The
is the truth.
psychology says, my dear parents, what you are speaking have a filter. The language development is most important, as ma'am said. If I am good at math, if I'm good at science, it's important. However, I need a language to convey that. And
Yes,
today, higher level of MNCs are not checking IQ anymore. They are checking your EQ, your ability to express, articulate what you're saying, what you're feeling, and getting work done. They are
yes,
checking your communication skills. Language development is one of the foundation of human behavior and personality. And if you're interested, you should study. There are awesome psychologists who has given social learning theory and self efficacy, Albert Bandura. You will enjoy, my dear parents. Walk the path that they have shown as a parent also. You show the example what you want child to do, and I promise you they'll do exactly like that. But if you're going to go preaching, beta, aise mat bolo, it's not interesting.
yes,
I'm not going to follow. So speak the language you want child to speak. Be
yes,
polite, assertive, clear. Don't stretch it. I have a very simple idea, Kalpana ma'am. I'll take an opportunity to share it. As an adult, we all make tea. We know how to make tea. Okay.
yes.
I'm not talking about tea bag tea, a typical Indian
Chai,
house tea where we
masala
boil
chai.
and we brew till we get a nice fragrance.
Yes,
Before we serve the tea, we sieve it. Before you speak, you communicate or express, sieve through these five filters. They are called think. T. What you're going to say, is it true? H. What you're going to say, is it honest? There's a difference between truth and honesty. All the time, you can't be truthful, but you can be honest, right?
yes,
Is it really, really interesting for the child to hear it? Will it catch their attention? Will you make an impact by saying it? N. Is it necessary for you to speak at all? Or do you think child has understood already? You will earn more respect if you are speaking less and talking more with your eyes.
with your
And finally,
eyes.
K. Is it kind? Is it truthful? Is it honest? Is it impactful and interesting? Is it necessary? And is it kind? Please make sure that whatever you're doing, pass through these and see how child picks up the language with lot of joy. You can do a lot of activity for language development. We
Yes,
have amazing board games for early years. Guess Who, Boggle, Junior Boggle. We can have games like Apples to Apples. We can play games like 21 questions and see how child's time passes when you're traveling.
yes,
Stories. Tell them story about
yes,
everything that you know. Okay, don't make it moral stories because nobody wants to know the moral of the story.
yes,
Tell them just for the fun of it. Sing with them. I know my daughter used to say, Ma, is there a situation that you don't know song about? Thanks to Bollywood, we have every situation song. Sing with them and see how
yes,
language will develop for them.
yes,
They'll feel like speaking, reading, and writing
yes.
because now they are good listener and good observant. Thank you so much.
Yes. So, like we used to have, as you spoke about language development, we have a lot, you've seen us at Mother's Pet, it is singing, dancing, drama, and, playing. Yeah, and people used to say that, uh, पढ़ाई कब करोगे मैम बच्चे लिखेंगे कब we say our padhai is like we say learning is play and play is learning. There's lots. And what you spoke about an adult, you know how you have to look work put the filter. We have something like that for our teachers. We call it the 3 B's. Huh? All of us, you come You enter the gates of the school with your problems. Your mother-in-law has, said, you make lousy breakfast. Your servant has not come today. All your problems. So we tell them there's an imaginary bin at our gate. So
Wow.
whatever you have, put it. Then there are some problems which don't go away. We tell, bag it. Open your bag, put it, and deal with it afterwards. And the
Awesome.
third B is bring. Bring lots of enthusiasm.
Yes.
Bring that love for children into your class. Bring whatever you have. And there's magic in the classroom then.
True. True.
So, like how you said, fake it, but you need
Make
to
it.
do it. When you're working with children, like how you say, that vibe goes to them. And I think children are very, very good at, understanding what kind of a teacher
Oh,
she is,
yes.
what
Oh,
kind of
yes.
an adult you are.
Yes.
So, and yes, so we spoke a lot about speaking skills. Now, another skill I think which is very important, and luckily I think we belong, I am much older to you, but we all came from that generation where a lot of print was there all around us.
Yes.
So, our children, all of us grew up voracious readers, but today, it has become a challenge to get children to read. So, Sonal, what we do in our school, we have a toddler age group. At Mother's Pet, we start from almost 2 years. We have a lot of rappers in our class. We've got Oreo, we've got Bonvita, we've got Maggie, all this that we keep. And we take out a wrapper and we ask the child, what is this? So before they can read the alphabet, they can read.
Awesome.
So, these are some of the ways
Yes.
that, we can develop reading in children.
Very
And I
nice, ma'am.
always say,
It's
you
called
know,
emergent readers,
yeah,
reading,
we
emergent
must
reading.
have,
Rather,
and we need to,
yes,
immerse children
yes,
in these kinds of activities, and then we take it higher. By the time our children come to KG2, senior KG, we show the wrappers. Then we tell them, now read the MRP, read the expiry date, read the manufacturing date. So, just one
absolutely,
wrapper
absolutely.
is such an important learning tool.
Very true, ma'am.
So, yes, we can
It's
take, that's how when parents say, we'll buy the, I said, don't buy anything. All your teaching tools, learning aids, everything
is
is
around
in
you.
your home. You
Yes,
just need to use it.
absolutely.
So, yes. So, this
True.
is how, and another way of developing reading, I tell all parents is at Mother's Pet, we are passionate because we are all passionate readers. So, every Friday, the weekend, we give even a nursery child gets a storybook.
Wow.
So we tell the parent, we give instructions to the parents, read. And Sonal, what I have found, the best way to read is keep your child, Godi mein, put your hands down at the book. And I think that, children become readers because of the mother and father's arms around them.
Absolutely right. I
Yeah,
would like to add here, ma'am. I get a lot of
yes,
parents saying that I'm buying so many books, but the child is not wanting to read only, ma'am.
yes,
It's useless. The problem is how many children are watching parents read it.
exactly.
Okay. So, what I do, I get a book. I'm talking about 20 years back when my baby was a toddler. I would get a book, I would buy a book, and I wouldn't give her. I would read it and I would go, all that. And now she would peep in and say, wait, I'm reading, baby. Are you interested in reading? Number one. Number two, babies' books are created with lot of illustrations.
Yes,
Do not start reading them.
yes,
Allow the child to decode it. And now see the interest in the book that child will develop. For an example, there is a dog and there is a park. Don't talk about the name of the book is Stray Dog. How's the dog? Nah. Rather, allow the child to talk about there's a doggy and he is in a park. How do you know? See, so many children are there. Oh, wow. What else do you see? Just allow the child to build the story. The story might be completely different from the story in the book, but that's the advantage. You have
Yes.
another story. The day the child will be able to read it, he has another story to read. And
Yes.
that is the idea of the book. Are you making book interesting, or is it an activity to make him a reader?
Yes.
Reading has to be done so that we decode unknown things.
Yes.
Allow child at his brain level to decode in his way and see the vocab development, see the construction of the sentence. And you can rephrase. For an example, child is saying something wrong in a wrong pronunciation. You can rephrase it correctly without teaching him, and he will learn better.
Yes. Yes. Sonal, another way of getting children hooked into reading, what we found is we've done an activity on fruit salad in the school. Our teachers, they take lots of pictures. We take out color printouts, just pin them, and we make a book corner. Next day, we do a red color activity. And
Super.
believe me, children come, Mera book kahan hai? Mera book, then they take. And they say, Dekh, dekh, tu Ashish, tu dekh idhar hai.
Yes,
I think that's the way. And I tell
exactly.
parents, you've gone for a shadi, mama ki shadi. So take out 10 pictures, 20 pictures, एक storybook banao and give
Yes,
it to your child. Your
yes,
child will be engaged for at least half an hour. That
absolutely.
much, yes. So I
Absolutely,
think
ma'am.
these are ways parents can,
Yes,
inculcate the reading
yes.
habit. Yes,
Rather, I would even make it simpler for you. Take the old albums out.
yes,
Tell them the story about the pictures. Me and
yes,
my daughter had a hobby, and I would now I'm doing with other cousins' children who are tiny, and for the school children. Take a picture and think about it. What do you think happened? Why this picture was taken? Who are there in it? Why are they there in it? And it can be a story in itself. It can be very, very
exactly.
important task because you want your child to learn your family history, your family tree. Nothing better than that. Now talk
Yes,
about the anecdotes and comedy scenes that happen there and some
yes,
mischief. Add the flavor into it and child see you did. You. And they develop respect and warm feeling towards the parent. And you
yes.
can you can connect with the child on a bond, on a level where child starts feeling that, oh, my papa is nice, my mama is nice. They don't only instruct me, they
Yes,
love
they were
me.
as naughty as me,
Yeah, and they can
isn't
relate
it?
with them and connect with them.
Yes, yes,
And that can be a biggest tool to develop their language.
yes. Sonal, I would also like you to talk. See, today everybody is talking about 21st century skills. Can you shed a little light on that?
Sure, with pleasure, ma'am. So at school, we have to now make sure that we are covering these four 21st century skill, which are called four C's:
First is.
creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. Now, why did they come into existence? Let's talk about it. I'll go to the parents here. Thanks to our parents. When they come for admission, they come and say, my child knows A to Z, 1 to 20 colors and shapes. Can we have them in nursery? The
Can we have them in
academics,
KG2, KG1?
absolutely right.
Yes,
The parents are so aware and exposed that they are doing so many tasks that academics had to do. As school, as what I've understood in Mother's Pet, that we make sure that we teach in an earnest way that
yes,
child learns holistically.
holistically.
Holistically. And we make sure that child's engagement is at the highest level, at the peak.
Yes.
It's not A for apple, it's apple to smell, it's apple
Well,
to touch, it's apple
yes.
to wash, and then apple
And
to
we
taste.
even tie we give them a
Yes,
bandana here and we say,
yes,
we put the fruits. Now, come on, who
absolutely.
can give me an apple?
True. It's
Ah,
a,
I've got an apple. I've got a
again,
pineapple.
I'm
Yes,
so happy, ma'am. You're talking about again a senses stimulation. This is called
senses.
stereognostic sense that you
Yes,
just developed.
diagnostic.
Now, for the parent, how do we work? uh, the ball game has changed. We used to be six, seven children at home, joint family. 20-meter kapda used to be brought, and same shirt and same frocks were worn.
Yes,
The scenario is changed. I live for my
yes.
child. We used to get a pair of new clothes twice a year, birthday
Twice a
and
year,
some
right?
some festival. Now every time I visit a mall, I pick up something. It's
Yes.
one child's birthday, I pick up for the other child also, bura lagega. So this
Yes.
child now has to read a book, Pegga Pig Learns to Share. The social emotional skills are at risk. 90, I travel across the world as early childhood trainer, and one thing that is common across the world, I'm not even seeing in our country, is parents' expectation from the educator, ma'am, khana kha raha hai ki nahi dekh lena.
That is first, number one.
Isn't that right? Now, why is it that? Because at home I have one or two children, they don't listen to me, but they listen to the teacher. The
Teacher.
magic happens. And it's a valid reason. And
Yes.
that is why these four have been included in the curriculum in the school.
Yes.
But as a parent, what is my job is to add one more to it and look at character building again from C.
Yes.
That is my
Values,
job because
building values.
the world has become so demanding from the child. I do not understand from right to wrong. Social media has done such magic and wonders that child doesn't know when to stop.
Yes.
And that is where we as parents can engage children in our day-to-day activities. The more they are part of our day-to-day life, the better their growth will be.
Yes.
Why do I need to give a reward to a child to help me doing household chores? That's
Yes.
his house. It's his responsibility and pride to do the chore, and he will feel responsible. It's very important that 3-year-old baby learns to button his shirt. It's very important that 4-year-old child is taking care of his body. Now, I'm not so saying only to reduce your work, my dear parents. It has direct impact on their academic as well. The child today is not going to be measured by his IQ or his marks. He's going to be measured by his behavior. And that only you can do as a parent. Your behavior is going to be mirror and reflection what your child is going to pick up. Which environment are you giving, offering to the child? For an example, we come home tired and all our stress is at a soft target, our child. Or are we sharing happily what happened and teaching child how he has to share his day with us? It's in our hand what kind of bond we are creating. Yes, marks are important. Yes, academic is important, but school will take care. You have taken a best decision
Exactly.
by admitting them in mother's pet. But what about your bond with your child when this child is going to be
Yes.
a teenager? Will he or she come and tell you, Ma, I have crush on this one? And you will not judge the child. You will listen to the child and help the child to understand what is in store for this child. The communication with this child, the bond. I keep it very simple, my dear friends, as parenting coach. Happiness is not given by toys, clothes, and gifts. Happiness is a skill that you need to teach a child to develop. It has to be generated by a parent, by an educator, by an adult, so that child sees that कुछ नहीं है फिर भी खुश है.
Yes.
Happiness is something you give it away. You give it away. It comes right back to you. It is like a magic penny. Lend it, spend it, give it away. It comes right back to you. There's a beautiful poem on the
So
net.
beautifully put, Sodal.
Right.
Beautifully put.
There's a
Really.
beautiful poem which I'll request all the parents to read. When you thought I wasn't watching, I saw you feed the stray cat, and I understood caring is important. Please Google it. It's a beautiful poem. My dear parents, everything that child is going to do in first 6 years is a replication and reflection of what you're feeding them at home and what teachers are doing at school. Thank you so much.
Yes. And I think this is what, Sonal, as stakeholders, parents and teachers, all of us together, we need to hold each other's hand.
Yes.
Yes, we
We are
need to,
partners.
yes, we are partners. And I think when we hold each other's hand and, go on this journey, I think our children, will create
Absolutely.
wonders with our children.
Absolutely.
And, I always feel like I'm a very passionate early childhood practitioner because I feel this is the base. At this age, if I love my school, if I love coming to school, if I love learning, I think I'm sorted for life.
True,
That's
ma'am.
why I always say, be careful when you choose a kindergarten. You
Yes.
know, go do your research. Go and sometimes people say, "Ma'am, घर के पास था इसलिए डाला." I said, don't do that. I'm not saying you come to Mother's Pet. I'm not telling you that. Go to 10 kindergartens all over the city. Find out who is, what kind of curriculum they have. And more than anything, what kind of teachers they have. I think that I always say the backbone of any school, two. One is best practices and
Yes.
best practitioners. If
True.
you have these two together, I think we can,
Do wonders.
do wonders.
You
I
very
think
rightly
so.
said, ma'am, that
Yes,
we are partners. As I was mentioning, in our times, say 50 years back, children were just grew up. Nobody paid so much attention on
yes,
children as such. They just grew up in the house. There were six, seven children in the house. Now, parenting is a full-time work because we are living in a situation like that.
yes.
We don't have our
I'd
extended
just like
family.
to share with you, Sonal, when you talked about parenting. Whenever I start a session with my parents, I ask them, who is the first teacher of your child? And everybody tells me, mother. And I
Yes.
say, I'm talking about parent. I'm not talking about a mother. Where is the father?
No, luckily the scenario has
Yeah, the
changed. Now
scenario has
fathers are
changed.
contributing
Yes,
so well.
yes. Today,
So,
like, now when our schools are reopened and, we've asked, we tell the parents, spend some time in the
yes,
school with your child. We see
yes.
so many fathers,
Oh,
and
yes.
that is such a heartening
Oh, yes.
sight. I
True,
can't tell you.
true,
Fathers
true.
playing with their daughters, sitting on the swings,
Yes,
slides. It's
yes,
beautiful.
yes. Now,
Yes,
parent is not stereotype. I mean, so
yes,
many books we have father cooking
yes,
as a
yes,
picture. So that's not the issue at
yes,
all. Rather, I was coming back to a point that there's a beautiful African quote that it takes a village to raise a child.
yes,
And school as a management, teachers as a stakeholder, and the parents. Three of us together can create this village because our intention and focus is the child and the
yes,
best growth of the child in a given situation and circumstances. And what we need out of the child, of course, the professions, but more than that, a happy and responsible adult.
yes,
If we present ourselves as a happy and a thoughtful human being, the children will find it very easy in their vulnerable and their moldable stage to just ape us, copy us, and
yes.
eventually make it a habit to be responsible, accountable.
Exactly. Yes. That's why we have all these little activities in the school. I have seen many times outside, your class 4 staff is treated very badly. I have seen outside. So what this is what, like how you spoke about emotional development, creating empathy, sensitivity towards other people. So we have these celebrations where we tell the children, who is looking after you in school? Your teacher? Yes. But who else? So then we say, look, she is doing so much for you. And all our children, we tell them, you make cards for them. Let's make a bouquet for
Oh,
them.
wow.
And this is how we thank and
Wonderful,
we
ma'am.
celebrate the class 4 staff who work so hard. Because
Very
I
nice.
always say they're also stakeholders. And
True.
today I find we have children with special needs in our school,
Yes.
and the empathy that our class 4 staff have for children with special needs is amazing.
Very true,
You
ma'am.
know, yes. And this is what I say. This is what Sonal,
Yes.
the course that they have to do. Like,
Yes.
they have to be trained for this.
Yes.
Many times it doesn't come naturally.
Very true,
I
ma'am.
remember I was a very impatient person, when I had my kids, but it took a lot of training. Like
Right.
it took training in the schools to,
Yes.
bring
Yes.
out that, whatever was there inside you, and contribute to the well-being of our children.
True,
You
ma'am.
know, like I always say, we need to, everybody's talking about skills. Ma'am, when will my child start writing? And perpetual complaint against us, ma'am, you start writing so late. I tell you have your entire lifetime no लिखने के लिए
True, true, ma'am.
3-4 साल में क्यों शुरू करना है? 3
Exactly.
साल में तो बिल्कुल नहीं.
Very
We
true.
need to look at age, it must be age appropriate
Milestones.
activity.
Yes,
You have
yes,
to look at the milestones of the child.
yes,
Is the
yes.
child's, are the child's fingers ready? Are
Very
the
true, ma'am.
muscles ready? To hold a crayon, to hold a
Yes.
pencil.
Pencil.
We give our children a pencil when they are 4, in KG1. Yes. After that, the pencil is given to a child. Till
Awesome,
then,
ma'am.
and like I always tell you, we need to celebrate everything, Sonal.
Yes,
See, a
yes.
pencil is such a small thing, but we make it into a pencil ceremony
Oh,
where
wow.
we have them decorate the pencil and have music and sing about the pencil. Sometimes the teachers do a drama on the pencil.
Awesome,
That how
ma'am.
important a pencil is in the
But I
child's
truly
life.
admire, ma'am. This is exactly what our culture and tradition has spoken about.
Exactly. Yes.
Remember Saraswati Vandana we used to have
Exactly.
when you put a
Yes.
child in a Gurukul. And at that time, we used to put child in a Gurukul at age of 7. Till
Yes.
then, child was just playing and stimulating his sensorial.
Yes.
3 to 6 years, when child is in early childhood education, our job is to get his fine motor, gross motor,
Yes.
eye-hand coordination, his behavioral skill, his
Body
social skills,
balance.
social emotional skills, his
Yes.
value education, all that should be taken care during that time.
Yes.
And I promise by 7 child is ready to write. Whether
Yes.
you give him print, whether you give him cursive, for child it's a game. It's like
Yes.
I'm copying from the board, I'm drawing. It's like
Yes.
I'm just imitating you. It can be interesting because I'm writing a love letter to you.
Yes.
And that is the point that we are forgetting. Today's world has changed so much, ma'am, that 10th and 12th, which used to be dire state marks, is no
Yes.
more important. By the time you get your 10th result, the child is already studying 11th standard.
Yes.
By the time your 12th mark sheet come, you have to apply for entrance test. Even
Yes.
if you want to do graduation, you have to apply for CUET. And they are not checking your subject knowledge anymore. They don't care you have got 95%.
Yes.
They care how's your language. They care how's your analytic
Yes.
observations. How is your thinking, logical thinking. So, my dear parents, last piece of saying something to you from my heart is be who you want your child to be and
Yes.
keep striving every single day to be better than yesterday. And that's the key. You will have happy children who will understand the value of what you're giving them. Not only education at the best institute like Mother's Pet, but a home where child wants to come back. An environment is to be successful. Because if school was doing everything, every child should get 100%. It's a
Yes.
home environment that makes a child successful, that makes a child eager and achiever, that I want to do this for my mommy and papa to begin with. And then it becomes a habit of self efficacy to become better every day. Be that parent because your children deserve champion.
How well put. Beautifully put,
Thank
Sonal.
you.
And thank you so much. I've enjoyed listening to you. And like I always say, whenever I listen to you, there's so much I learn also. And wonderful. And,
Ma'am, the
like you are
feeling
the
is
trainer.
mutual always.
I
I
know,
learned
yes.
about 3 B's today.
Yes.
And a
And
small request to every parent, if you are interested in becoming early childhood educator, please
yes,
Google me, Sonal Ravi Andrews and IPTA. We have amazing platform. We believe every woman who is sitting at home has amazing capacity to become early childhood educator if they love
exactly.
children.
And
So
I
get
always say, we need more women, we need more passionate educators.
yes,
You
yes,
know, this field is, right to take all of you in. And
yes,
it would be wonderful to have more women joining,
yes, yes.
not just for time pass, but because you want to do something for
Oh
children.
yes, oh yes,
One thing, Sonal, what I've seen, once you get into this line, once you start working with children, you are hooked. It is for life. You don't
and you
want
are
to
always
leave.
young.
You're always young at heart.
True,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes. So thank you once more, Sonal. And I'm looking forward to you. Okay. Do we have any questions last? We have just 5 minutes. Anybody? Let me look into the Q&A.
Sure.
Just Sonal, I think we're running out of time. Yes, yes. Like, I think I could continue this for one more hour, but teachers from Mother's Pet and parents look forward. We will be having Sonal Andrews taking a full day workshop with us, and I know it's going to be fun, engaging, and very, very educative. And whatever Sonal is giving us, we are going to be sharing it
Implement.
with
Yeah.
our children and looking forward to having you with us, Sonal. Thank you
Pleasure.
so much. Yes,
Pleasure. Thank you so much, ma'am. Have a great time and thank you for having me.
thank you so
Take
much.
care.
Thank you, everyone.